What's going on, you guys? Brickman here, and today we're going to be talking about the For Honor multiplayer. And I gotta tell you guys, this game is a blast. It's going to be so much fun. It's got like an open world type play to it, where whatever happens around the world will affect each faction. But they gave us a video that kind of gives us an overview of what it is. So I'll let that play, let you guys watch it, and then when it's over, I'll come back and we'll go over some main points.
The faction war is a persistent cross-platform conflict between the Knights, Vikings, and Samurai. The faction you've pledged allegiance to determines who you'll fight for in the faction war, but doesn't stop you from playing any available hero. The faction war englobes all multiplayer and bot activities. After each match, you will be awarded war assets based on your personal performance. You can deploy war assets to help conquer an enemy territory, or defend one of yours against opposing factions. On a global level, the faction war is divided into territory updates, rounds, and seasons. Territory updates occur every 6 hours, while rounds last 2 weeks, and seasons last 10 weeks. For each territory update, the faction with the most war assets on a specific territory controls it. The world map will display the new faction-controlled territories and move the different fronts. Fronts will define which map you will play on. A map that was controlled by the Knights and is now controlled by the Samurai will have many visible changes. At the end of each round, players who participated will get a reward depending on the rank of their faction in that round. Once the season ends, everyone will get rewards depending on the rank of their faction. At the end of each season, the faction war is reset and will resume after an off-season period. The world will forever be impacted by what happened in the previous seasons of For Honor.
So that video was a little overview of how multiplayer works and some key points from it that I thought were important. I'll name a few here. So the first one, you pick one out of the three factions, but even though you pick that one, you can still play as the other two. So for example, I picked Vikings, and when I go and play, I can still pick Knights or Samurai, but whatever happens will affect Vikings. Each territory updates 6 hours, each round updates 2 weeks, and each season updates in 10 weeks. Um, so for the territories, whichever faction has the most war assets on that territory by the end of the 6 hour update, it'll change and that certain faction will control it. Um, and then you'll go into like a different map or um, front is what they're calling it, and the scenery will change. So what once was a samurai, and let's say the Vikings took over, all the samurai like drapes and um, I guess pictures or whatever you want to call it will change to a Vikings look of it, which is pretty cool. And then at the end of each territory update, round, and season, you'll gain reward depending on how well you did. Again, it's not just how you do; it's how everybody over the world does. So you could be playing with somebody across the world, but that's part of your faction. So depending on how well they do as well, it's pretty cool look. So with that being said, let's get right into the multiplayer. So as you guys saw, it gives us a little overview of what has happened since we last logged in, and then the little description here. Red is Vikings, this teal color is Samurai, and then the yellow is Knights. And it kind of looks like the Knights have pushed a little bit forward into the 4v4, and then it's kind of stayed the same as far as the 1v1 or 2v2. And this, I guess the samurai. I don't know if that's part of the actual default map. I don't remember. Obviously, this is my second time playing, so I don't know 100% exactly how multiplayer works. Um, but from my understanding, obviously, as you play and people across the world play, uh, it changes as you go on. So that's pretty cool. So with that being said, if you look in the top right corner, there's the 14, 20, and 26. I don't know exactly what that means. I'm assuming it has to deal with numbers of like like I guess it's territories perfection. Oh, okay, so that makes sense. So there's 14 for the Knights, and they've gained one. There's 20 for Samurai, and it looks like they've lost seven total, and then 26 for Vikings, and they've gained six. So, I guess that's pretty cool. It gives you an idea of like how well each faction is doing, if they're gaining territories or not. And then if you kind of like go over here and hit R2, you can see the bottom left it says Knight Stronghold, and I'm assuming that's like your main goal is to try to push each faction back towards their stronghold. Um, and I guess I don't know if you do if it like defeats them totally or not, but um, I guess that's the main goal of each season. So there is just a little overview of For Honor multiplayer, um, and it looks pretty fun. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I did make a video. I read the other day that there is a single player mode coming, and they had a little clip when you first started the game. So I made a clip or a video on what could potentially happen in that. So go check that out. I'll put the link in the description below. Um, and subscribe if you're not done so. Hit that like button for this awesome game coming out. I think it comes out February 14th, Valentine's Day. Um, so I'm definitely gonna get it, and I'm gonna have a blast playing it. Anyways, hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Peace.